You weigh 2.5 milligrams. You have 6 legs, 2 wings that beat 600 times per second. A needle-thin proboscis designed with surgical precision to pierce skin and drink blood. You are a female. Aedes aegypti, a yellow fever mosquito. You are sitting on the left arm of a 29-year-old software developer named Kyle, in a one-bedroom apartment in Houston, Texas, at 11:42 p.m. on a Wednesday. Kyle is asleep. He left the window cracked because his air conditioning broke. And it's August in Houston, which means the air outside is 91 Fahrenheit degrees and has the consistency of warm soup. You entered 17 minutes ago. You have been circling his head, navigating by the carbon dioxide plume of his breath and the lactic acid signature of his skin, with a targeting system more accurate than anything his species has ever built. You land. You insert your proboscis, which is not 1 needle, but 6. 2 serrated maxillae to cut the skin. 2 mandibles to hold tissue apart, a labrum to find the vessel, and a hypopharynx to inject anticoagulant so the blood doesn't clot while you drink. This took evolution 100 million years to engineer. Kyle will scratch the bump tomorrow and call you annoying. You are not annoying. You are the most successful killer in the history of life on Earth. Your family, Kulisita, has killed more humans than every war, every predator, and every natural disaster combined. You have shaped the human genome itself. Sickle cell trait, Duffy negativity, G6PD deficiency, all evolutionary responses to the diseases you carry. You didn't just bite humanity, you edited it. On a Wednesday, 11:58 p.m., August 21st, 16 minutes after you finish feeding, Kyle disappears. Every human on Earth gone. No bodies, no explanation, just the sudden absence of 8 billion blood meals. You don't care. You already have what you need. A belly full of blood, enough protein for approximately 150 eggs, which you will deposit in any standing water you can find. Kyle's apartment has 3 options: the bathroom sink, a forgotten coffee mug on the nightstand, and a vase of dead flowers. You choose the mug. It says world's okayest coder. It is now a nursery. Day 3. The eggs hatch. Larvae wriggle in stagnant water, filter feeding on microorganisms. Day 10. They pupate. Day 12. 47 new mosquitoes lift off from a novelty coffee mug in a dead man's apartment and fly out the cracked window. The cycle continues. It has been continuing for 100 million years. A species vanishing is not even a minor inconvenience. Week 1. Here is what most people don't understand about mosquitoes. You don't need us. Of roughly 3,500 mosquito species on Earth, only a fraction specialize in human blood. Most feed on birds, mammals, reptiles, anything with hemoglobin. Aedes aegypti adapted to human blood only about 10,000 years ago, when we started building settlements with water storage. You moved in. You specialized. But specialization is a strategy, not a commitment. Within 1 week, Aedes aegypti in Houston are feeding on rats, feral dogs, raccoons, and birds. The switch is instant because it was never really a switch, it was a return. The real change is environmental. Without drainage systems, without mosquito control programs spraying pyrethroids every Tuesday night, Houston becomes the largest breeding habitat in North America. Every swimming pool is a swamp. Every gutter is a river. Every basement is a lake. The population explodes. 1 month. The mosquito population in Greater Houston has increased by an estimated factor of 40. Mosquito control in the United States was a $1.4 billion industry. It suppressed populations by 80 to 95% in urban areas. Without it, every unmaintained body of standing water becomes a breeding site. The bloom ripples outward. Gulf Coast, Southeast, Midwest, mosquito-borne diseases surge through bird and mammal populations unchecked, reshuffling wildlife communities like a deck of cards thrown down a staircase. Natural selection, meet your favorite collaborator. Infectious disease. The first decade reshuffles the menu. Aedes aegypti, the human specialist, now competes with thousands of generalist species for blood meals. Niche partitioning begins. The process where competing species divide resources to reduce overlap. Some lineages specialize in birds. Some in deer, some in booming populations of feral livestock. Without artificial light, the crepuscular species feeding at dawn and dusk are thriving. Nocturnal species that exploited bedroom windows are losing their advantage. Within 10 generations, behavioral selection is shifting activity patterns across multiple lineages. And body size is changing. Without pesticides selecting for small, fast-reproducing individuals, average body mass creeps upward. Larger females carry more eggs. Larger males win more mating competitions. Sexual selection and natural selection pulling in the same direction. Bigger is better when nothing is trying to poison you. A century. The diseases have rewritten the rules. Without human medicine, mosquito-borne pathogens are co-evolving with new hosts at a pace that would terrify an epidemiologist. Avian malaria has exploded across North American bird populations. Mammalian trypanosomes spread through deer and feral cattle. Every blood meal is a syringe, and every syringe is reshaping vertebrate immune systems. The mosquitoes themselves are diversifying. In the swamp forests of the former Gulf Coast expanded hundreds of miles inland, a lineage of unusually large mosquitoes is emerging. Body length approaching 15 millimeters, nearly double their ancestors. Proboscis lengthening to penetrate thicker mammal hides. They are filling the niche of horseflies and deer flies, large blood feeders targeting megafauna. Convergent evolution. Different starting point, same destination. 1,000 years. The world is warmer, wetter, wilder, and mosquitoes are doing what they've always done best. Adapting faster than anything else in the room, the Gulf Coast mega mosquito is now a distinct species. 20 millimeters reinforced proboscis that pierces cattle hide. It breeds in permanent swamp systems that replaced coastal cities. Its larvae are predatory, eating other mosquito larvae, invertebrates, even small tadpoles. This isn't new. Larvae of the genus Toxorhinchites are already predatory today. This lineage just scaled it up. In the northern forests, a cold-adapted species has emerged. Antifreeze proteins in its hemolymph allow it to survive temperatures that would crystallize its ancestors. It breeds in snowmelt pools and feeds on caribou and bison. Its season is short, 8 weeks of Arctic summer, but its swarms are so dense they can drive a full-grown bison to exhaustion through blood loss alone. This already happens. Arctic mosquito swarms can drain a caribou calf of a third of its blood volume in a single day. 1,000 years just makes them better at it. 10,000 years. Atmospheric oxygen has risen slightly as global reforestation processes more carbon dioxide. The insect size ceiling is lifting. The mega mosquito lineage now includes individuals with wingspans exceeding 30 millimeters. Their flight has changed. Less of the frantic whine, more of a deliberate, gliding approach. They are ambush feeders, resting on vegetation near game trails and launching short, precise strikes. Their anticoagulant saliva has evolved new compounds that also function as a local anesthetic. The bite is painless, because prey that panics and runs is prey you lose. This is convergent with vampire bats, who evolved the same trick for the same reason. Evolution has a very short list of good ideas. It just keeps reusing them. 100,000 years. And the real story isn't size. It's the diseases. The mosquito-pathogen relationship has deepened into something that blurs the line between parasitism and mutualism. Certain mosquito lineages now carry microbiomes, so complex that the pathogens they transmit have become essential to their own immune systems. Remove the plasmodium, and the mosquito's gut biome collapses. The parasite has become the infrastructure. In the tropics, a lineage has developed what can only be called farming. The females preferentially bite hosts already weakened by disease, detecting the altered body chemistry of sick animals through chemoreceptors that can identify fever signatures from 30 feet away. They are selecting for sick hosts, which are easier to feed on, which increases disease transmission, which creates more sick hosts. It is a feedback loop. It is also, in a grim way, agriculture. 1 million years. Mosquitoes have undergone an adaptive radiation that would make Darwin weep with joy or horror, depending on his mood. The megafeeders of the tropics now include a species exceeding 40 millimeters in body length. They hunt in coordinated swarms, not the random clouds of their ancestors, but structured formations that encircle prey and attack from multiple vectors simultaneously. Chemical communication between individuals coordinates the approach. Retreat pheromones signal danger. Rally pheromones concentrate the swarm on weakened targets. It is not intelligence. It is distributed processing, the same principle that makes ant colonies and neural networks function. 1 million tiny decisions producing behavior that looks, from the outside, like strategy. In the oceans, a fully aquatic mosquito larval lineage has abandoned the adult flying stage entirely. Neoteny, Reproductive maturity in the larval form has produced a permanently aquatic insect that filter feeds in coastal estuaries. It looks nothing like a mosquito. It looks like a small, translucent shrimp. It is a mosquito. 10 million years. A dense, humid forest in what was once the American Southeast, now subtropical, draped in moss, threaded with slow rivers. A herd of grazing mammals. Heavy, armored descendants of feral pigs, 800 pounds each, moves through a clearing at dusk. They are wary. Their ears twitch. Their tails swing constantly, not at flies, but at something worse. The swarm arrives at 6:47 p.m. 500,000 individuals, each 35 millimeters long, moving in a formation that flows like smoke through the canopy. They have tracked this herd for 2 miles using a CO2 gradient so faint it would take human instruments to detect. Chemical signals ripple through the swarm, target acquired, descend, feed. The grazers bunch together. The largest male swings his armored head. It doesn't matter. The swarm envelops them. Painless bites. Anesthetic saliva perfected over 10 million years. Open capillaries across necks, flanks, ears. Each individual drinks for 90 seconds. Each takes a milligram of blood. 500,000 milligrams is 500 grams over a pound of blood, extracted in under 2 minutes from a herd that barely registers the attack. The swarm lifts, disperses, reforms 3 miles away over a still, black pond, the kind of standing water that has been the cradle of their species since the Cretaceous. Eggs are deposited. The water ripples with larvae. Somewhere in the genome of every single one of them is a sequence that once coded for a preference for human skin chemistry. For the lactic acid in Kyle's sweat, the CO2 of his breath, the warmth of his arm at 11:42 p.m. in a Houston apartment with a broken air conditioner, none of them remember Kyle. None of them remember the cracked window, or the coffee mug, or the Bluetooth speaker, or the 6-needle proboscis inserted into a forearm while a species that thought it ruled the world slept through its own irrelevance. They were here before us. They were here with us. They are here after us. The mosquitoes do not miss you. The mosquitoes never needed you at all. If you just slapped your arm involuntarily, good. That reflex has been keeping your species alive for 300,000 years. It won't be needed much longer. Hit like if you will never look at a mosquito the same way again. Subscribe if you want to see what else evolves when we stop pretending we matter. And tell me in the comments, what's the worst mosquito bite you've ever had? Because whatever bit you is part of a lineage that has been doing this since the Cretaceous, and it is not impressed by your bug spray. See you in the next video.